Ah, I was convinced this guitar was in tune 2 or 3 minutes ago. Well, anyway, yeah. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with the guitar. And they call me on the phone and they say, "Hey, man, what's your show about anyway?" I say, "Oh, it's about an hour. About guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. Guitars, guitar playing, all things guitaristic." So basically, it's Dusty, man. If you want to call me on the phone and ask me a question about the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, uh, oh well. The only thing I could say, James, is that there's nobody here who would go down to the guitar shop and buy me one. But
But I did go across the street to the studio and no one's there.
yeah,
And I went upstairs and they don't have one.
oh, that's very kind of you.
Yeah.
Huh.
Make do.
Yeah,
Tom suggested you just sit.
I'm just sitting, but I'm gonna have to hold this thing up for my. I will say though, the guitar shop, we're only a few blocks away. It's a perfectly nice cotton one. If we can find anybody, not you, because you're working, man. It's not you. Hard to find
I
that.
don't know. We'll have to make do.
Yeah, maybe they'll deliver. I don't know.
Give them a call.
Well, I have to sit here. I'm gonna sit here like this for the next hour. Okay, I'm sorry.
Just here now.
That's good. I'll continue my preamble in a second. So, Jim, my problem is that I forgot my strap. I'm in distress because I don't have a strap. So I sent people off. Yeah, you have to poke. I have a belt. I don't have one on, but you could poke holes in a belt. If there was somebody who was available, they could run over to the guitar shop 2 blocks away and buy one with my money. But
Are you really that desperate though?
I guess I'm going to have to sit like this. There's all these kinds of things, and I asked Ray if he had some clothesline in his truck, and because I've made them out of clothesline. But
Well, maybe you could do this as a tutorial. Excuse me. I just rushed here and we're getting into hay fever season.
Oh, oh no, oh no.
Excuse me. So it's not a bronchial event or anything.
Oh, good. Yes.
So maybe you could make this into a tutorial how to play the guitar without a guitar strap. If that's
Yeah.
possible, yeah. I mean,
Well, it's certainly
people do.
possible when you're. Well, see, I'll tell you, there are two things that immediately spring to my mind if you don't have a guitar strap, as long as you're sitting, of course. One is that you don't care how you sit and you play like this, which I'm perfectly capable of doing, but I don't play very well like this. It's not very healthy. You see, it's actually pretty easy to do. And the other one is you play like a classical guitarist. And I'm afraid everything I do, because I don't know if I really want to be classified, you know, but basically I think really I'm like a classical guitarist who went astray. So that's why I'm playing this sparkly colored electric guitar with a whammy bar, Bixby style.
okay.
Yeah, it's a rockabilly guitar basically. So,
We'll get some close-ups when I get back to the control room.
but anyway, this was saying is like I'm like,
Well, that's part of your eclectic nature.
Yeah, I
you know?
suppose.
You can play a guitar that looks like that with the in the classical position because you can do it.
I suppose I'm going to have to. I put one foot on top of the other. See, when I was a young fellow, you know, I would practice a lot, and I would sit at dinner and I put one foot on the other one like this. But all right, I'm going to play this guitar without a strap on this program. If I spend enough time complaining about it, I won't have to do much playing, I guess. Yeah, see, here's my footrest. Call this kind of footrest Reebok. Okay, well, anyway, so what my show's about, guitars, guitar players, all things guitaristic or related topics like the sitar, the kitara, citerns, lutes, vihuelas, banjos, balalaikas, bazookas, bajos, sextos, tiples, cavaquinhos, ukuleles, banjoleles, mandolas, mandoras, mandolins, mandocellos, mandobasses. You got harpsichords or harmoniums, and you have terpsichords, you got trombones and trombomarinas, you got clarinets, clavinets,
A, B flat, and C clarinet.
A, B flat, and C clarinets, saxophones and sackbuts, you know, well, I don't know, flutes and triple flutes and transverse flutes. Got your single reeds and your double reeds and your pipe organs and your piccolos. You know, you got your tubas and your timbales, timpani. You got your buran. You got your got all kinds of things, man. Marimbas, castanets.
I was reviewing some notes that I took back in my music school days, and they were related to orchestration, and I had a long list of things that could be used as percussion instruments and do occasionally turn up as percussion instruments for like special effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to bring that list. There's about 10 items. Those sheets of metal that you
Oh, yeah.
flutter back and forth to make
Thunder.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So I'll bring that list in. We could add those to our.
Yeah, I was at the Crowded Closet where they had the 10,000 villages, and I was making donations. I've changed sizes again, so I decided just to get rid of all my easy living Kelowna kind of clothes, and so some I've consigned, but many I've just given away. And when I was at the Crowded Closet, I went to the 10,000 villages, and I was to see if they had anything interesting, because I bought some flutes there and things. And there was one little fretted thing there once I saw, but I didn't buy it, and then I went back the next day and it was gone. And, but one thing they did have, that I didn't buy, were little instruments. There were little claves or whatever, little figures carved out of wood, little hollow things with a hole in it. And then you have the stick that is talk, 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 talk. So I started talk. It took me a couple talks to get it to sound really good. Talk, talk. The thing about percussion is you bounce. You bounce, you don't hit it, you bounce off of it. Pow, 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 you know, it's like you pull the sound out of it, you know. And so I played that for well over a minute, and I thought, oh, I should have gotten that.
Yeah.
Because I like those little things. Because, I mean, just if that's all you had, talk, talk, talk. There was this thing about reggae years ago, it's like, I think it was on a maybe this is not a true story, but this story I heard years ago was that they had this reggae band. We have all these people up there. So one person had a stick and a Coke bottle. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, ta. And they had this beat, this like part of the whole groove. So there's all these people doing all these different things, together, with a central beat. And that was somebody's job, was to hit the Coke bottle with the stick. I thought, well, that's great, Get a gig, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'll probably spend the rest of my life behind the guitar, but anyway.
So the Crowded Closet's a cool place to. And these are by they have missionaries who do teach people how to do crafts and stuff that they could then sell for a fair price and stuff. And
I think
so they have
people
that whole section. And
I think they already know how to do crafts. I think what they do is they just buy village crafts
okay, so
from different parts of the
yeah,
world.
of course they know.
Yeah.
Of course they would know how to do it.
So it's like wicker work and
So it's just providing a fair trade platform for them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mennonites. The Crowded Closet's a Mennonite
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
and I associate freely with Mennonites because I hang around Kelowna so much on the weekends. But and of course I've known Mennonites all my life, but they have a very charitable side to their
Yeah,
denomination.
and that's a super cool store to shop in. I'd go there more often, but they keep very prudent Mennonite hours, like 9 to 5 or something, and it's hard for me to get over there
Yeah.
by 5 o'clock. If they were open a little later, I'd be over there quite a lot. That's always a treat when I'm on vacations and I switch to a daytime schedule to at least one point stop by the Crowded Closet. So it's a cool place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're spending your money wisely there, and it's for a good cause and everything.
I didn't spend anything, but I kind of wish I did. I almost, well, that doesn't count, but talk, 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 talk. Anyway, I haven't even finished my preamble yet. I mean, I'm just saying, okay, so if you have a question about musical items like all these instruments that I've mentioned earlier, or politics, world events, your own personality problems, the number will appear on the screen from time to time, but if you do, keep it clean. This is a family program. Okay. So let me see if I can get this going here. Okay. Yeah. So what is this thing called? This is a Peavey. Let's say on the inside what it's called. It's JF JF2 EX. It's designed as a rockabilly guitar. Oh. Sorry. I've been having all kinds of trouble. Felt just great till I went to the doctor and got that Obamacare, which is a great thing. You know, there's been a whole lot of negative advertising against it by what seems to me to be unscrupulous people. They wanted to vilify the Obamacare. But, I mean, I'm paying a lot less for medical insurance than I was. And the kind of policy I had before, see, when I went to the doctor finally, and I had medical insurance before, it was extremely expensive, and there were all really high deductibles and really high co-pays, and I'm not sure if they cover everything and everything like that. But so I just didn't feel like going to the doctor. So I finally got affordable. It's the Affordable Care Act, you know. I still pay insurance premiums and everything like that. But so went to the doctor. They did some tests, and they had to give me a list of things that are wrong with me. So if I want to live for a while, you know, if I want to, because you know, Tom's Guitar Show, I've given you the best years of my life. In the words of Joni Mitchell, I gave you all my pretty years. Sorry, just joking around. Okay, so anyway, they said all the things are wrong with me. Take all these pills. And I said something to a nurse I shouldn't have said. It was inappropriate, but I said, you know, I probably qualify as a jazz guitarist, but I'm just not that good with drugs, you know. So I've been taking all these pills for various conditions that need to be monitored and managed. And I just, you know, for the last couple of weeks, I've just felt really sluggish and uncomfortable. Won't sleep well. My legs and my arms are kind of sore and achy. It's a side effect or something. My back has been bothering me, so I'm sitting in this chair with see, that's why I wanted my strap. So, in this condition. Yeah. It's all right. Gotta rest. Used to be a tough guy. 2, 3 weeks ago. Hold my guitar up proudly for hours on end. But, yeah, someday. Someday everything will be all right. To dream the impossible. So, anyway, I wanted to mention there's a classical guitar event at the end of the month. The last Tom's Guitar Show of the month is usually done at Uptown Bill's Coffee House, which is upstairs from where I am now, in the South Dubuque and Lafayette, the corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette, down by the tracks. So that Tom's Guitar Show special, at the last, is the 29th of April, I believe, will be all about classical guitar. So I'm going to invite any classical guitarist or any classical guitar enthusiast to show up. And if you want to play, actually, if you want to play, you should contact me. You can leave me a message via PATV or Uptown Bill's Coffee House if you want to get a hold of me about this event. Or my website is allthingsguitartom.com. So if you wanted to, I could try to play guitar like this. I don't move as well. I didn't do a very good job. I find it very hard to play the guitar down like this. It's, that's not the way nature intended you to play your guitar. You should play your guitar up like this, with a strap. Yeah, because because then your hands work better. Let's face it. Take a kind of big chord like that. There's one that's in this Bach prelude that I like. Like just like this. I like to call it the Widowmaker. It's a G sharp, a B, a D, and an F. You're right, I can't play on this thing. I don't want to play on this thing. Some other day. I got a dead note in this thing. So I enjoy this guitar because there's something kind of obnoxious about it and outrageous. It's like a kind of bowling ball or a boat you see, you know, sparkly, but it's cheap.
But it's making some good music. I'm enjoying what you're doing today. It's setting the right tone. I was thinking, you mentioned before about your health travails and feeling a little under the weather. But we can transcend that with music because it's like, you know, I have a good friend back east who's got multiple sclerosis, and he went to a Zendo and did Zen Buddhist meditation for many years. And he used to say that when he was sitting, he did not have multiple sclerosis. And I think we can say the same thing about music. When you're absorbed in music, you know, you're not ill. You've transcended it. Your mind is completely off it. So. And had you not said anything about your not feeling well earlier, we wouldn't have known it all by the music.
I could still play, and it's really important to me. And I don't know, it might sound kind of, well, a little touchy-feely and everything like that, but the more stuff happens, you know, like the more... I've had a lot of friends who died, you know, in the last few years. People my age or younger, not much older. And my mother just died a week or so ago, and and so I have you know, went to the doctor, and they said they have these things wrong with me that could lead to my, you know, I mean, I guess earlier demise and also being very sick, you know, in the future, like things. And so I'm taking all these medications and stuff. And actually, I mean, I have my blood pressure, my blood sugar. Cholesterol is all under control right now, but I'm having the side effects of all these pills because I'm not good with drugs, as I said. I mean, I play jazz guitar.
They're medications.
Yeah, I'm not good with stuff like that. So I feel under the weather. But the one thing that I feel more committed to is, you know, the work that I do, which isn't necessarily hugely important. I mean, I'm a small potato in the whole thing, but I have my students, and I hope that all of them, you know, at least learn to appreciate music a lot better, even if they don't continue to play music. I hope some of them continue to play music and do it very well, and, you know, continue some musical stuff into the next generations, and their young students and then older students too, because they will influence other people like their children and so forth, and other people around them. So there's that, and then up to college, you know, I try to be very animated and I care deeply about every student. You see, even so, some of them, you know, might not appreciate that, you know, or not behave accordingly, but I still. And the other thing is the playing, because you know, I play all these little gigs, and maybe if somebody's having dinner at the restaurant, I'm playing, but I want to make the experience, you know, memorable for them, for more reasons than just. I think my position is secure. They're not going to fire me, even if I bring funny guitars or sometimes. Then I got my church gig, and it's not really my religion or anything like that, but I play at the Journey Church, and they're very nice people. And some of those people they have their sorrows. You know, people died in their lives. People, major things didn't work out and things, or they've had, you know, issues with their families and things like that. They were very, very profound. And so you know, the minister does his thing, you know, but I'm his right-hand man. So he says something, prayer or something like that, and everybody's supposed to meditate on it. So I play something, and they're all sitting there with their eyes closed. They're thinking their thoughts, and I'm providing a soundtrack, you see. So I guess, you know, being aware of my own mortality, having people, some people very close to me and some people that I've just have been old pals that I'll never see again die, and not feeling so good. You know, and having to perhaps remain on certain medications for the rest of my life. I think I'm really committed to this guitar business. And there's this thing that I almost find insulting where people say, well, you know, you play the guitar, you get women, you know. And I say, and I don't think it's ever really helped me. Of course, I was always kind of a nerdy classical guitarist, and I mean, the kind of women who would follow around like rock and roll guitar players because, you know, because it gives them status. These young women who dress all fancy and, you know, try to be groupies for. And I've seen this even like local rock and roll legends. Like one guy, they say he was a legend in his own mind, but he would have young women lined up, you know, because it was there for their status. It was for their egos. These young women to I never had anybody lined up. I mean, I'm married and everything. I think my wife always liked my music, appreciated it, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that sort of rock star status thing. Like people say, well, play the guitar, you'll get women. So you play guitar because you hear that, and you want to do that, and you want other people to hear that too, what you've found. So you want to share it.
Well, you've always been deep, and now you're just deepening even further with your life experiences,
Yeah.
which deepen and ripen all of us.
I'm going to be a pretty deep guy here before long if I don't look out. Yeah, well,
But not 6 foot under deep.
Yeah,
not,
well,
not yet. We're not ready for that.
inevitably,
Well, inevitably, all of us, yeah.
yeah.
But that's why when you listen to Beethoven, the stuff he wrote at 56 was so much more profound than what he wrote at 26 or 16.
Yeah.
And flies in the face of popular media expectations where they come out with biographies of 24-year-old
Yeah.
Disney World or whatever, artistes or whatever. It's just
Oh,
ridiculous.
you got
But
your, Miley Cyrus is the one now, but they,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
it was Britney Spears in a previous generation.
right, yeah.
But they, and then and there's also Justin Bieber. But there were always these rockers, and it's interesting music when you in the kind of like the 60s and 70s when rock, basically they say the rock era was 1954 to 1974. And other things happened afterwards, other kinds of things were called rock. But it's very interesting, when you think about it, because there was well, one thing was the black and white music combined. It was like the child of rhythm and blues and country western. So he had your, I said, I think of his name, Chuck. Well, yeah, okay. For some reason, I can't remember his name. Anyway, I mean, you had black musicians listening to country music or white people's music, basically, and adopting that with their rhythm and blues thing. And then you had white people listening to blues stations, like the Buddy Holly. And then you had this sort of hybrid of the two, this kind of biracial thing with a beat. And then there's this revolution where we all started having, like, changing our minds in the 60s and the kind of cultural changes. And kind of exciting. But the music, a lot of musicians they weren't as good. They weren't as technically advanced as the jazz musicians or the classical musicians of that era. But, it's not that hard to play. Greatest rock hits, I've taught them riffs and things. I don't find them technically demanding, but it was a cultural thing, that really made it happen. And then it was a youth thing, a youth movement. Never trust anybody over 30, which I always thought was funny because I was younger than those people who were saying that, but I was a kid. I could watch the big kids and the young adults. So never trust anybody over 30. I said, someday you're going to be 30, and they were. And I got to know them later in life when they were 50. And I'm sorry, but it was good. It was all good. It was good then.
Well, we're down to 5 minutes, but I did want to say, you talked about your well, first of all, I want to go back to my original comment. Is I've really enjoyed what you've been playing tonight. It's just, for me, it's hit the mood very nicely. And the other thing you were talking about your students and giving through your music, and I know my own experiences here. I've been doing this for at least since 2001, because I know I was doing we did the 9/11 the day that happened. That was a Tuesday. So it's been at least back that far. But you've kind of kept me in touch with music myself, and I had gotten away from that for many years, and listening to you talk about chord theory, and it's all rekindled my own interest in. I'm hoping to get a keyboard soon and getting back to writing music with a whole new different slant than from my involvement. And a big part of that's, being here and doing this week after week. So
12 and a half years at Tom's Guitar Show.
Exactly. So you have had a very, very good effect on everybody. So
Yeah. Modest effect, but I think it's been I hope it's positive.
very positive.
I don't try to, it's not Well, I'll be back next week. The last show of the month. So it'll be all about classical guitar. Uptown Bills. I'll be at the Tuscan Moon this weekend. Friday, Saturday night. At dinner time. Beautiful downtown Kelowna, Iowa.